So let's get into the meaningful marketing and the meat and potatoes. I want to talk about what meaningful marketing is not first, and then we can get into what it really is. Meaningful marketing is not about making a sale. It's not about your bottom line. Meaningful marketing is not about being salesy or pushy or your needs. It's not about filling your needs. It's not about filling up your classes. It's not about your ego. It's not about statistics and the stats that you can make and the sales you can make. It's not about, and I'm just going off my head here, I don't actually have notes on this. Let me have a sip. Please, if you have any questions throughout the way, or you hear something that you like me saying, please stop me and I will pay attention to that. So Camille says you are committed to taking action to get out of your comfort zone and do the things that scare you. Yes, and really like this scared me too. But once I started, Camille, like within 30 seconds, I realized this isn't scary at all. Like the idea of it scared me, but this, I feel like I'm totally in my zone. So while you think something might be outside of your comfort zone, once you step into it, it's going to be exhilarating. And I can speak from experience right here, right now. Yes, so more marketing, better marketing to reach more people. All right. So meaningful marketing is not, it's not about how many followers you have. It's not about how pretty your posts look. It's not about having the very best strategy. It's not about following what the gurus say. It's not about, what else? What else? What else do you think meaningful marketing is not all about? I'm not the only one here with answers. What else do you think meaningful marketing is not all about? I'd love to hear your opinions tonight. So let's get in. I'll wait and see if anyone wants to comment on that. I'm trying to set up my screen so that I can see both my Facebook live messages. Okay, and I want to point something out really quick that is just bizarre. Just bizarre. My husband and I both follow the weather. We both like to look at the weather and what's going on. Oh, showing cars and cash. Yes, like Ty Lopez, right? He's notorious for being a marketer, and he's like takes pictures with his phone, and he's got all his like Lamborghinis and Porsches and giant mansions behind him. He's like, hey guys, you should check out my program because it's all about how much cash I can make. Yeah, meaningful marketing is not about that. But I would love to know if it is raining where you live, and if so, where you live. Because if you look at the map, there are literally storms all over the world. Because it was really, really weird that I was thinking to myself, like, not only are we faced with all this emotional pain and suffering and doom and gloom, but where I live, I go outside and it feels really dark and gloomy out there. And I was just wondering if it's dark and gloomy where you live too, because I'm wondering if, like, this is me just being weird, but I'm wondering if all of the vibes that we are putting off has anything to do with the weather, because it really feels like it does. Hey Shannon, great to have you here. Gail and Sheena, you guys are all joining us on Facebook. Hello. Vanessa, hello. Okay, so now that we've talked about what meaningful marketing is not, let's talk about what it is. Sometimes the answers, right? Because I made notes. I try to make notes before I go live as often as I can. But the meaningful marketing that you are capable of doesn't need notes. The meaningful marketing that you are capable of needs you to just be you. Sometimes, and for most of the time that I've been chatting tonight, and this is a scary thing to say because it's woo-woo and it's out there, but I'm gonna be like, I'm stepping up, right? This is me being bold. This is me being vulnerable. This is me being real and raw. A lot of the times I channel the message. I clear out all the things that I don't need to bring into showing up. And I let the universe or God or source speak through me. Share your passion. Damn right, right? There I go, cussing. That's the universe. That's source speaking through me. Damn right. I'm going to share my passion. Meaningful marketing is about sharing your passion. And if you are truly passionate about something and you're truly educated and truly inspired and truly equipped, right? Because all this time leading up to prior to coronavirus, you have been equipped. You've been equipped to help people. And so meaningful marketing is about showing other humans that you are here to help, that you have been perfectly prepared for this. And so it's about not holding back. If you want to say a cuss word and you feel like divine download is telling you to say a cuss word or two, it's about not holding back. It's about being truly authentic. I run a group called Authentic and Thriving. Right now, it's really hard for a lot of people to feel authentic and thriving, but I want to give you the tools to still be authentic and thrive amongst the chaos, amongst the quarantine, amongst businesses being shut down. You have the capability. We are just being called to look at the world from a different perspective, and we're being called to show up at a whole different level, and we can do all of this online. Meaningful marketing is about speaking from your heart, right? Channeling the message, speaking from the heart. If you want to take notes, that's fine. Just because I took notes doesn't mean I'm not being meaningful tonight. I took notes to make sure I don't miss anything, but I'm not going to rely solely on notes. And the more and more you put yourself out there, and the more and more you put your words out there and your messages and you show up live, you really don't need a lot of notes, right? It's just going to come through you. And so that's what I want to inspire you so much right now, to not feel like, to not hold back in just showing up, because sometimes that's the only step you need a lot of coaching for, is just showing up. And then once you show up, then it's going to work through you, right? So, and let me recap this because we haven't really talked about it, and maybe some of you are assuming. And again, if you have questions, please stop and ask. But marketing, what is marketing, right? Like, maybe I should talk about that really fast. You probably already know, but if you run a business, you have to market for yourself. You have to put your message out there. You need to let people know what you do. Prior to social media, right? I was going to say prior to COVID-19, but of course, so let me start over. Source, please speak through me properly. Okay. Prior to social media, right, especially a lot of us brick and mortar business owners, we built our practices off of word of mouth and referrals, and we didn't have to do a lot of marketing. Now we can still do the word of mouth and the referrals and all of that, but we can leverage it online. And if we are starting from zero, right, we can still use our platforms, and our platforms can be our Facebook, our Instagram, our emails, our newsletters. There are a lot of different platforms in which we can market. Now I'm going to tell you, I have learned how to master Facebook. And once I learn, I feel like there's more learning to do. But Facebook is the platform that I prefer. I'm just now starting to dabble in Instagram. But what they say, right, is to pick the one platform you want to use, whether that's emails or teleconferences or getting on other people's podcasts or having your own podcast. There's a lot of different platforms and or mediums we can use to market. But it's important that you pick at least one that you will have and grow an audience on, that you can then share your message. And when we share our message, we want to share our meaningful message. So it goes back to not holding back. It goes back to speaking from your heart. I want to ask you, on a scale of 1 to 10, if you had to rate me on my ability to speak from my heart, I would love for you to just rate me. I'm not doing this for my ego. I'm doing this to prove you guys something, prove to you something. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how well do you think I've been speaking from my heart tonight? And the reason I ask you this is because there is a reason. Because I don't have anything about me that you don't have. You have a heart, you have a desire, you have a message, you have tools, you have this desire on your heart to help people too, right? And there's nothing different about me and you. I might have a little bit more experience in training. If you don't feel like you could show up and speak from a 10, all I want to tell you is that speaking from your heart at a level of 10 out of 10 is really a choice. Do you get better at it? Yes. But can you just pretend that you're talking to your friends on the other line? Can you just pretend that like your best friends are on the other line, right? And you are helping them with all of your heart. Why would you hold back with your best friends, right? The people that you're speaking to on your social media platform also need you to show up in the same capacity you do for your family and your friends. You know what's funny as I say this? Our family and our friends, right? Some of them are like, I don't want to say this, I don't want to like jinx us, but they can sometimes be our worst patients and our clients. That's like not just me. That's a global wide phenomenon that the people that are closest to us are sometimes our worst clients. Why did I say that? Because there are people out there that they might not, now I feel like I'm messing something up. So thank you, Camille, and thank you, Sheena, for voting a 10 out of 10. I appreciate that. And it really is just a decision. It really is just a decision. It's a choice that you say, okay, I'm over here and I'm scared and I don't know what I'm going to say, right? And then you step into the role and you show up and you speak from your heart. And then some of us might worry, right, that we're not going to be perfect, right? So we want to speak from our heart, but we're going to worry that we're going to mess up, or we're not going to say the right things, or we're not going to do it right, or we're not going to have the right lighting, or we're not going to have the right background. Like we get in our heads about worrying about all of those things. And if we're worried about those things, it's going to be really hard and distracting to try and speak from the heart. So what I want to invite you to do is remove all of those things that would stop you from getting to speak from your heart. And it's about showing that you're human. It's about showing that you're human. I've messed up tonight, right? I'm human. I'm not perfect. I've told you about some of my setbacks. I've told you about how I've messed things up before. It's because I'm human. You're human. Show your humanness. I think that that is what draws people in, because when we are trying to hold back our humanness, we are also decreasing the potency at which we are speaking from our heart. And people feel it. People really feel it when we're trying to, and I've done this, guys. I have had my fair share of really trying to put on a mask, really trying to be a certain way because I thought that's where I needed or I should be like. But I want you to be yourself. I want you to speak from the heart. And doing that, right? It's not about being perfect. I think we talked about that. Show you're human. And the more I feel like these two go up in proportion directly related to each other. Speaking from your heart and showing your humanness, right? They go up together. And while you're being human, raw and real is relatable, absolutely. While you're being human, you tell your story. That is meaningful marketing, because the stories, right? You've probably heard this, and I'll repeat it. Facts tell and stories sell. I've been hearing this my whole life as an entrepreneur. Facts tell, stories sell. So it's really important that when you stand up in front of a crowd or you go on social media, that people know where you're coming from, that they know who you are and your story and your background. And you know, I told you my story opening into this. Hey, I'm affected from the coronavirus just like you, but I didn't want to sit on the couch. I saw a need and I ran with that. And I had to conquer my fears, right? That captivates you because I took you on a journey of emotions. I shared a little bit about my background, and I made you realize that I'm only one step ahead of you in this capacity, not other capacities, but just in this capacity. I'm only one step ahead of you in leading leaders, right? In stepping up and saying, I have something that I can help you with. This is also about meaningful marketing is, and I've talked about this in a capacity, but I've said it's not about, you can't hold back. You can't hold back in meaningful marketing. It's about being all of you, and it's about being as potent as you can. Because in life and as entrepreneurs and as, you know, I'm honestly a serial entrepreneur. I could pick this project and pick this project. And if I'm bored tomorrow, I might make jewelry and try to sell that, right? Like I am a serial entrepreneur. It's a gift, but it's also a curse. Because sometimes what I do is I lean into the projects that will make a very small impact. Like I could make jewelry all day long, and I can make the perfect necklace for somebody to fit that perfect outfit that they've always wanted a necklace to wear. But right now, in this great time of need, I can't go to sleep at night knowing that I made a necklace when I didn't show up and serve at the capacity and the potency that I knew that I'm capable of serving. So meaningful marketing is about doing your potent work, doing your soul's work, doing the meaningful work that you've been perfectly equipped to do. It's about being all of you, right? So tonight, if I can't sleep, maybe I will make a necklace, but probably not, because I need rest, right? So it's about being all of you, and all of you also means listening to what you're being called to do and step into that assignment, that soul assignment that you're being led to do. This is sometimes really hard for people because, you know, I have been a chiropractor for 10 years, and there's a part in the back of my head that says, what will patients think as I step slightly out of practice and more into coaching? There's always that fear and that worry because chiropractic has been safe. My office has been safe and comfortable. And people know me and trust me, and I've built this thriving practice. But being all of me also requires that I dive deeper into what all of my soul wants me to do. And what I see happening right now is this is the time that literally overnight, we have to dive into that. We have to dive in and we have to connect with what we're being called to do, because what we've been doing has hit like this screeching halt. It's hit a screeching halt. over the last 2.5 years, as I've been a coach, right, I've been talking about this. I've been talking about, you have to discover your purpose. You have to discover your purpose. Right now, I'm like, you have to fast track discovering your purpose. You need to pick right now. You have to get off the fence and you need to pick right now what it is you're being called to do. And you need to take action and do it, because the world is waiting. The world is waiting right now, right now. It's about being all of you. It's about taking those leaps of faith that you know you're capable of taking, but it's just taking that step. I wanted to tell you that story about being bold, and I sidetracked and I talked about something else. And so I'm going to tell you the story about being bold that has completely changed my life. In December of 2016 was when I finally started seeing that people were not as much setting New Year's resolutions as they were simply just picking a word for the year. Because what do we know that happens with New Year's resolutions? We don't always fulfill them. Right? But I saw this like trend happening. And every year I feel like it becomes more and more of a trend as people pick a word for the year to focus on, to be their theme. And in 2016, it was before I had ever done a Facebook Live, right? And I had just was living in the safety of my chiropractic office. I had not put myself out there at any capacity. I was not using my gifts and my talents at its full capacity. I'm still not, honestly. It's a daily practice of going deeper and deeper. And so in December, I thought, if I'm going to pick a word, I want that word to be that if that was the theme of my life, it would change everything. And it was a theme that was not currently present in my life at that time. And I chose the word bold. I had this much of a mustard seed. Like I had one tiny mustard seed inside of me that felt like being bold. All 98% of the rest of me did not feel like being bold. I was scared. I was timid. I was shy. I did not put a filter. I would never, ever, ever cuss on a Facebook Live or a Zoom call. I would never, ever tell you my story. I would never, ever show up without makeup on. I have makeup on tonight, but I was even scared to go to the grocery store without makeup because I didn't want to run into the people that I knew. And so in December, January 2017, I made the commitment to have bold be the theme of my life. That completely changed my life, not only as a person, not only as a chiropractor, but an entrepreneur and a spirit, as a human being, right? We're spiritual beings having a human experience. Choosing to be bold fast-tracked my spiritual journey, my human experience. And I want to instill you that it was literally just a decision, and then I move forward being bold. So meaningful marketing is about being bold. It's about sharing your message. Because you have amazingness inside of you. You have been prepared all this time, right, to offer something so amazing. I want you to think about right now the potency of the magic that you have to offer. If it was packaged and you could gift it, let's say to 5 people, 100 people, 1,000 people, every person on this planet, right? What would this world look like if you could package your amazingness, the gifts, the talents, the products, the services, the knowledge, the wisdom, right? I've shared a lot of wisdom with you tonight. I know that there's potency behind the information and the knowledge and the wisdom that I've shared with you tonight. You have those same potent resources that are just waiting to burst out and go and get into the hands, the minds, the eyes, the ears, the tummies, whatever it needs to get into, right? You have that. Now we just need to package it. We need to put it out there. We need to broadcast it in a meaningful way. Because when you do it in a meaningful way, people stop. They stop their scrolling and something captivates them. They stop and they listen. I haven't been monitoring all night about how many people have been here live, but I know many of you have come in here in this room and you've stayed because what I'm sharing is meaningful. What you have to share is meaningful too. We just need to get you in front of people. And I know that you already have a platform, right? We just need to learn how to leverage it, how to use it, how to build the infrastructure. And maybe it's even a virtual, probably at this point, it's a virtual infrastructure to help you put your message out there in a meaningful way. Tonight I've used Facebook and Zoom. Those are great resources that I can use as my infrastructure to put my message out there in a meaningful way. Is to leverage technology.